bright stars through or the ramparts we streaming and the rock gave proof through the still there. Oh, say banner yet wave. Land of the free and the home of the.
A beautiful rendition. Honestly, I'm a little emotional, a little speechless.
Yeah, that was gorgeous.
Yeah, years after our Declaration of Independence was signed to when we are trying to return.
Man, it's exciting.
And that's so important to us. You know, we do want to be the leaders in exploration, but we definitely know we can't do can do. This is something that is a collaboration of nations, and that's why we have European.
You want to go far, you go together, and we want to go far. We want to get onto Mars eventually, and so
for that beautiful rendition, again, reminding us of what it is we are trying to accomplish. Andre Douglas, number 2 there, just outside in the lights a little bit. The crew has the opportunity to they were given the opportunity to adjust the lighting as they see fit, again, just so that they can get comfortable. It's kind of like when we are on a plane and you get the
adjust the lighting to what makes sense for the mission.
And we saw in that very quick like we were saying, that kind of moves around, so sometimes it's hard to show that, so there you have it. They have to close out in order to then close the next hatch first, and then the launch abort system hatch.
Yeah, so the crew module hatch is the one they're working on. That is the hatch that completes the Orion capsule, and then you have the launch abort system. Capsule during launch, and it has its own separate engines that can pull the capsule away. So it's actually looking at roll rates and attitude and thrust and all sorts. Zone safely.
Closing that side hatch of the crew module. Let's head over with the person who designed this mission's zero gravity indicator.
Hey, Megan. Yes, of the many special guests we have with us today to design the zero gravity indicator. Lucas, can you tell us a little bit about your zero gravity indicator? Would be going to space?
Yeah.
So how does it feel? We're actually just across the river right now from Artemis. We can see it from where we're rocket, just a couple hours away from going to space. Really? Very happy. Now, Mom, you were telling me on the way over here that it was kind of hitting you what was happening.
Surreal to be here in person. That Commander Weissman said that it's
It's a little bit away from watching the first group of astronauts in your lifetime on their way to the moon. So if you had one word of encouragement or something to say to the crew who's
what?
Go Artemis.
Go Artemis.
Go Artemis. Thanks so much, Megan.
I would say have a nice trip.
Yeah. You would.
Today.
Yeah.
And so the Artemis II crew, again, ZGI, zero gravity indicator. It's a plushie, a soft toy that is brought in.
In some of the views in the cabin view, you could see it swinging and hanging earlier. So.
To unpack a lot here. We got to talk about Jenny, who we will get to here in a second. But then, yes, we will. It was chosen by the crew after a contest where the crew asked for submission. Them to the moon.
It's kind of like any other. Really. Except this toy has a job to do up there because this is a zero gravity. The strapped-in astronauts that they've reached weightlessness. For Artemis II, the
$2,600 of you submitted.
And we loved seeing all of your contributions.
In the end, we were able to narrow it down to a top 5 from Finland, Canada, Peru, and 2 from the United States, Kansas, and California.
Earthrise photo taken on Apollo 8, which is very special to our crew.
Blanket Lab at NASA's Goddard Space Flight Center. This lab specializes in custom dye that meets the rigorous safety standards of NASA.
Because you have to be concerned. To close the opening here and hand sew the hat on, make sure it's for the SD card.
And on that tiny SD card will be millions of names.
Got Rise, not the real one. Family to design.
Yeah, I love that he replicated the famous picture that we all love of such a cute and wonderful way to represent this mission.
Yeah, and again, Earthrise, very important to this crew. It harkens back to the picture that was taken by the Apollo 8 crew where they to see Earthrise again with this mission.
Yep.
So then 5 million people submitted their names as part of NASA's Send Your Name are inside that SD card.
How cool is that? Her nieces and nephews are going to go with her.
Yeah. If we take a look back inside of Orion, we can actually see the actual ZGI. purpose of a zero gravity indicator is to show when we've reached the weightlessness of space. Now, I know that it's probably dark in there because, as we said, the crew decided to just dim it a little bit for them. But here again, as we see Reed on your left, Victor on your right, a little hard to explain their orientation, but between basically Victor and Chris indicator, and Jenny, who again, an crew member for the NASA astronauts. Jenny is the backup crew member for Jeremy.
Yeah, Jenny's one of our Canadian astronauts, and yeah, so she's been also helping with preparations for today and helping get the white room ready, get the capsule ready, and she's actually
in Calgary, Alberta, completed astronaut training in 2020, mechanical engineer, combustion scientist, and actually before becoming an astronaut, she was an assistant professor. So again, another very well-accomplished person on the team. And I know the Artemis II crew has really enjoyed working alongside.
Her initial training, so she helped us with all of our spacewalk training, which was kind of cool as well.
Smoothly here from Firing Room 1 here at the Kennedy Space Center. Launch team. News. We did get an update on a weather balloon that the launch weather officer 10 to 11 knots in the upper parts of the atmosphere. That's important information for the launch abort system should the astronauts need the last or an emergency, and then take them offshore to a pushing onshore. And because they're pushing onshore, the launch weather officer the Orion were to come off the top, and it's powered by 3 rocket motors which can propel it the air thousands of feet and then splash down in the water. And if you've got wind pushing, watching that very closely because of the onshore flow. That onshore flow is also what's giving us a little weather action down to the south of us along what's called the beach line, 528. We got a whole lot of people out there. We're getting ready to watch line of rain showers, I should say, pass through that area and soak the place. Certainly rain is a possibility. Spotty we are trending towards getting that stuff to all push to the west, the closer to 8:24 p.m. Eastern time. We don't have a specific T0 at this through the rest of the countdown on time. As of right now, we are right. That's not something that we saw certainly in Artemis 1. There was a lot of but so far today on our first launch attempt, we're really enjoying some really solid countdown work, some solid operations by the launch team so far. And to quote our friend Lucas, who really like that. We'll send it back to the host desk.
Thanks so much. In the big box here, we have our full view of the rocket, looking glorious on there with, again, some clouds, but still weather is good for launch today. We got confirmation that they have successfully completed pressurizing the counterbalance side hatch for the crew module is very heavy. So in order to open it, there needs to be pressure applied to it, and that's what we just completed, right?
Right, that's exactly it. So the CBA, that counterbalance assembly that we're talking about, has to be pressurized. It's a pneumatic system to help latched and unlocked. Then that pneumatic system will help move the hatch. It weighs a lot, and the system is pressurized, that it's not going to leak, and that it is ready to go in case they need to open.
The seal leak checks. So that is in progress. Again, 2 seal. And we will take the seals to pressure. It is holding pressure. Again, we want to make sure that the crew has a safe, pressurized environment in any sort of situation while they're in Orion.
Yep, that's right. So we're going to take a look at it. We're going to take a look at the starting pressure, and then after a certain amount of time, we'll take a look at the ending pressure, and then there are certain tolerances that we will accept for flight.